Hey YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you 5 tools that I think are very necessary to have. They're extremely handy to have when you need them. So let's get into that. So the first tool on my list is an air compressor. I use an air compressor every single day, no joke. I use one every single day of my life, whether it be blowing, the dust off myself, or cleaning up in the shop, cleaning tables off, or just topping a tire off with air. Air compressors are very useful. I find it a necessity in any shop. Even if you have an apartment or something like that, you can get a small one and you'll find many uses for this. I've had this one since I was 15 years old. I'm currently 30, which makes this 15 years old. The reason I bought it is because I got my first truck. I wanted to keep it clean. I use this thing for blowing the dust out of the little vents and areas you can't really get to. So I use it to keep it clean. Use it for the motor, blowing all the stuff off the motor, keeping it looking nice, blowing the air filter out, topping the tires off. I have been working outside and hauling a lot of heavy loads and all that type of stuff since I was able to drive. So I used it for I had air shocks on it is what I'm getting at, and I used this to pump the shocks up on it. Long story short, air compressors are very necessary. You will find many uses for one. When I got married, we had the kids and they'd have little birthday parties. Used it for blowing up thousands. I'm not kidding. I've used this one to blow up thousands of balloons. When we got a little pool, we used it to blow the pool up. We used it for inflatables for the pool. I mean, countless uses. This thing right here has hundreds and hundreds of hours on it. I know it's not a contractor grade or commercial grade. I got it at Harbor Freight. To put it in perspective, this thing was like $29 when I bought it. Now I think they're like $60. It's been a good one. A couple of things I want to kind of explain to you right quick that you need to be aware of to keep your compressor lasting a long time is duty cycle. The duty cycle on this one is not going to be as high as, say, my Ingersoll Rand. The duty cycle on that one is 100%. You can run it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's designed for that. This one is not. It's only designed to run, I don't know, I'd have to go get the manual, but I'm just imagining it's about 15 minutes an hour, 20 minutes an hour, something like that. Don't hate on me if I didn't get that number right. I didn't look it up. Just want to kind of stress to you, every air compressor has a duty cycle. Another thing I've done to kind of make this thing last a while is keep it out of dusty environments while it's running. This thing, the pump, has to get air from somewhere in order to compress it, right? So if you're in a really dusty environment, sanding or doing drywall, something like that, all those fine particles are going to be going through this pump if they're floating around it. You get it? So if you got dust going in the piston that's generating that pressure, over time you're pretty much sandpapering the inside of it up and destroying the seals, and your air compressor won't pump up as fast. It'll run longer. It's just keep it clean, or keep the air around it as clean as possible when you're running it. So we covered duty cycle, we covered keeping the air clean around it. Another thing on this tank, it says drain tank daily, huge warning symbol. Reason for that is when you compress air, you put moisture in this tank, especially when you got cool air. Like today, it's 30 degrees. I'm going to start, if I turn this on, it will start compressing, start getting hot. So you got cold and hot, and that makes moisture in this tank. You want to make sure you drain it out. On a tank like this, this is drain tank daily. On a tank like this, that's feasible. If you have a big tank like that, let's just be honest, people's not crawling up under that thing or rolling it out when they got all it hooked up and doing that daily. You can invest in automatic drain. It will drain the tank automatically for you. You just have to set all that up and run the hose somewhere. That's a really nice feature. But something like this, all you gotta do is turn that little valve right there, and it'll blow the moisture out. You close it back up and you're good to go. So that's how I've kind of maintained it. Keep it drained, make sure your duty cycle's good, keep the air around it clean. Let's go to the second item on my list. Second tool on my list is a right angle driver. You can use this with impacts, you can use it with drills. If you don't have an impact or a drill, you probably need to go get one because they're really handy to have. Something like this is nice. This is like a little DeWalt 8-volt. I'm not sponsored by DeWalt. I wish I was, but I guess I don't have enough subscribers or views yet. But you guys can help get me there if I keep making decent content that you like to watch, okay? Anyways, getting off topic. This is a cool little, I love this drill, okay? And I know this wasn't on my list. This is on my list, but I had to show you this. That's so cool. You can straighten this thing out if you need to. I use this function more so than the other one, but it is nice to have if you got to get inside of something. You can just do that. Another cool thing about it is it's only got one button, right? You hold the button in. They call it like gyroscopic technology or something like that. I don't know. It's just cool. You can hold the button in, turn it right, it goes right, and you can control the speed. Listen to it. And that's just holding this button down. I'm just holding the button and turn it. If you want to go left. Okay, enough of that. This is the point I'm trying to get across. You get this 90-degree tool, you're gonna be like, I don't really need that, but there will come a time, whether it be under a cabinet, under a sink, or if you're having to drill a hole or loosen something, or something really tight space will come along that has a screw in it that you're gonna need to take out, and you're gonna be like, man, I wish I had this 90-degree tool that John's talking about, or real life tested. You can call me either one. What I'm getting at is this thing takes up very little space. You can put anything in it that has the hex shank. You can just put it in there. You can get it in a really tight. You can see how little space this takes up, even over this small drill. And you know, you got a bigger drill, you're gonna take up more space, but that's a small drill for comparison. I'll kind of give you an idea. I'm just gonna put a spade bit in it so you can see the thing flapping around. But let's say that I'm in a really tight spot with this little bit, right? I got a little screw connected to it. Well, look at this. Isn't that so cool? Save you a lot of headache and time. I recently, let me tell you what happened. So I used this on something. I don't remember what I used it on, but I lost it, or I misplaced it rather. I didn't lose it because I got it right here in my hand. But I was moving out of my other shop, and I had built the table, or built my workbench, and then I built another workbench and kind of joined them together. Well, the only way to take them back apart, if I didn't have this, was to use a reciprocating saw and cut the heads of the screws off and all of that. So this saved me all of that trouble. I was able to move without tearing anything up. I was able to get all my screws and stuff like that out with this. I didn't have to, you guys get, I'm not gonna keep going into the story of me moving my table up to another shop, or to my other shop, but necessary, get it. You don't have to get DeWalt. They make it multiple, I've seen lots of brands. They have cheap ones. I don't know how they work, but they're probably all made by the same company, honestly, the way things work nowadays. But they have them anywhere from like $8, $9 to $30, I think. And they have kits. I also, oh yeah, with the story of me saying that I misplaced this, I freaked out and I literally went and bought another one. But the one I bought, it has, let me just go get it right quick and show you. Okay, so the one I bought has this, it's kind of the same thing, it's slightly bigger, but you can take this head off right here, and it's small. Look how small that thing is. You can lock this in. You can, well actually, no. I haven't used it enough because I'm still using my old one. But you can stick this in here, lock it in there, and check this out. It's flexible. How cool is that? I don't know. It's really, it's not something I use every single day, but when I need it, it's not replaceable by anything other than like a saw or something. So, especially if I'm taking something apart. So let's get to the third thing on the list. That was my dad and my grandpa. My grandpa burns firewood. He's got a fireplace in his house. That's his source of heat. So he needed some firewood, and I said, hey, come on over. You can have unlimited amount. You can have everything. You take it all, you know, because I don't do anything with it. And that was my dad's truck and trailer. Before anybody says, why don't you bring it to him when you cut the tree down? Well, my truck weighs about 10,000 pounds. My trailer weighs close to 15,000 pounds loaded. And needless to say, it's too big to go in his yard. Normally my dad comes with his truck. He's just got the F-150 and he'll load it up. And you kind of need a four-wheel drive to get in there because it's steep, ditch, all that. Anyways, getting off subject, that's why my truck's too heavy. It just works out better for my dad to come get in his truck. That's all I'm gonna say. The third tool on my list is this. If you don't know what this is, now you do. It's a magnet. I know a lot of you are thinking, I'll never use a magnet. You know, you will end up having to, you know, need a magnet for something one day. And what I like about this one is it's long, right? But you can also extend this thing out really long now, and you can bend it around and contort it any way you want it to go. for I think maybe 29 years. I'm 30 years old, by the way. For 29 years, I didn't have a magnet. I'd either borrow somebody's every now and then when I needed it, or ended up getting really long pliers and trying to grab something that I dropped. But a guy at the last place I worked at, he saw me doing all that crazy stuff all the time, and he went to this came from Home Depot. He went to Home Depot and he said, "John, here you go. You need this. Take it." And I said, anyways, I started carrying it on my tool bag at work. I was like a maintenance guy. I fixed all kinds of different machines and stuff like that. But I took this magnet with me, and I was amazed at how much I used it when I actually had it. Perfect example, not long ago, maybe a month or so, might have been longer than that now. I don't know. Time closes in when you're busy. I don't even know what day it is half the time anymore. I was running a wire to my kid's playhouse. I still hadn't finished the playhouse. I got the drywall sitting in it, like in a huge pile. I just hadn't put it up on the walls yet. Anyways, I was running a wire, and I had to run a wire up through my wall in between the studs, whatever, to get to my sub panel, so I could actually connect it to power. And I know there's multiple ways you could do this. I know the bag and the string and the shop vac trick and all these. There's multiple ways. I'm not gonna get into that because that's not what this video is about. But what I did, I jammed my fish tape up through the floor. I went down and pushed this through the knockout, got it down the wall, hooked the fish tape, and pulled it right on up through. And from there, I was able to fish my wire up through and all that type of stuff. So, and a lot of times, if I'm working on an engine or something, it don't have to be a car engine, any kind of engine. If you drop a screw or a bolt or a nut or washer, or you drop something in the corner and it's in between a bunch of stuff, instead of having to move all that stuff, you can just get your magnet and grab it, or you can fit this thing down in the side of a motor. It's nice to have, believe me. If you get one, you'll use a lot more than you think you would. The fourth thing on my list is this big bad boy right here. This is called a bench vise. I don't know what I'd do without this thing, because my little girl just took off running. I didn't know what that sound was. I don't know what I'd do without this thing. I have it mounted to my bench here. If you don't have a big bench, you can use, they have stands, like bench stands or tool stands that you can get. I've seen those at Harbor Freight. You can bolt those down to the ground. If you don't want to bolt them down to the ground, I'm sure you can fashion some way to clamp it to something. I've even seen people that didn't have much room, but they had you don't need a truck, you just need a hitch, right? That they have hitch adapters that you can slide into your receiver and that your vise can mount to. I've seen people that lived in apartments do that. Like if they had some amount of work to do, they go out there and put that thing in the hitch and do the work and pull it back out, take it back in the house. Then it's kept out of the weather and all that stuff. But a vise is real handy because I'm always doing something. I'm always having to bend steel or bend something, or it's nice to have if you're threading stuff. You can just clamp it down in there and run a tap through it. If you need to cut a bolt shorter, you can just clamp it down in there and cut it off real nice and smooth. I use this for all kinds of stuff. If you need to drill a piece of metal, it's a little bit safer than holding it with your hand or clamping it to a table or something like that, because if you clamp something down in this, it ain't gonna come back out if you clamp it right. I've used it for threading pipe. I use it for sharpening my chainsaws. I just recently made a video on that. I clamp my chainsaws in here. It just makes something sturdy. It makes a sturdy platform for you to do something, okay? And I like this one because it rotates and all that type of stuff. If you gotta move it in some fashion, you can do that. I even weld in this thing too. I mean, I know it's on a wood table, but I hadn't caught it on fire but a few times. And I was paying attention, I promise. So a bench vise is a must-have for me as well. This is the last thing on my list that you probably wouldn't think of if you went to the store looking for tools. And these are Sawhorses. The model of these, I like these in particular. I'm going to tell you the model of them. The model of these are Tough. The name is Tough Built, and the model is C700. I'm thinking I paid about $90 with tax. I got them at Lowe's, and don't know if you guys know this. You probably do, but you can get the credit card from Lowe's, and they give you 5% off anything you buy with it. Sometimes they have 10% off deals. Anyways, I bought these. Like I said, I think they're about $90. And the reason I like these in particular is you can see right there, they have legs on them that you can adjust the height. That's a big pro to me. Another pro is this right here. I can't really show you because I got a bunch of drywall on top that needs to go up on these walls. But this right here lets out on both sides, right? and you can actually put a 2x4 in there and make your own table. You can put the 2x4s in here, lock them together, and you know, if you want to, you can put plywood on top of it or whatever. Another thing I like about these are they have these little fold outs right here. Well, they fold out a little bit more than that, you can see, but it's got a lot of weight on it. Actually, no, that's not the fold out, that's the lock. Oh no, I'm glad it didn't fold out because all this would have fell on the floor. This is what I'm talking about. That folds out on both of those, and you can actually stick a sheet of plywood up there if you were cutting it. What the heck? That's my little girl. She scared me again. She's funny. She's a little scary thing. But anyways, sorry, it caught me off guard. You can fold these out and put your plywood in them. And if you're, you know, making any kind of cuts, you normally want 2 people if you're gonna be doing that, because you can have somebody on the other side to hold it. You know, the part that falls that you cut. But and another thing I really like about these is you can fold these things up flat. You see this little bottom part, right? Just this little section right here. These legs actually, you know, they're expandable, so you can take them up there, you can break that down, and they actually fold up inside of that. So the only room they take up is that little area right there. You can Google it and look at that. I would show you, but I got the drywall on it, and that stuff's really heavy to move around. I think I got like 16 sheets or something up there, and that stuff ain't light. But yeah, they fold up, and that's really nice. And they support, don't hold me to this, but I think they support like 2,000 pounds. This is a good bit of weight. It's a lot better than the cheaper. I've had cheaper plastic ones, you know, the cheaper ones I bought because they were cheap. And those things do not last. The little centerpiece is plastic and it breaks off. They don't like cold weather. Plastic gets real fragile when it's cold out. And I don't know. The older I get, the more I've learned. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, but buy once, cry once. And I'm starting to see why, you know, because I bought a lot of stuff twice. I bought the cheaper one when I was younger, and now I'm getting the better stuff now that I'm older. Guys, another note on the Sawhorses I want to get with is when I was talking about they fold up nice, they didn't take up much space. We have a good bit of space now. I'm very fortunate for that. In our old house, we still had a lot of space, but it wasn't what we have now. We had like maybe like a 20 by 20 garage or something like that. And we were fortunate to have a garage, but we parked our cars outside, and I had like my tractor, I had my lawnmower, I had like a bunch of woodworking stuff in there. I had what little tools I did have at the time I had in there as well. Needless to say is you couldn't walk. You couldn't walk in there. There was stuff everywhere. It's about to that point now because we keep growing, which I'm happy and fortunate about that as well. But what I was getting at with that, we didn't have a table in that garage. So every time we did something, we'd get those Sawhorses out, and it was nice, like I said, because they fold up and you could put them, they didn't take up much space. But we'd get those Sawhorses out, unfold them, get a thick sheet of plywood that we had that we used as a table, and we'd stick that on top of them, and that was our table. We did that for almost 8 years. So you don't have to have tables, you don't have to have this and that. Like I said, the Sawhorses were getting, and even that being said, we used the plastic ones. I was talking about the plastic. We used the plastic ones for a while, but they just did not hold up. If you plan on using them, Sawhorses is one thing you can't skimp on. Some things you can skimp on, like I skimp on some sockets, like heavy sockets. Like I have a lot of 3/4 sockets for big stuff. I skimp on that. That's gonna be another video if you guys want to see it. If you guys want to see it, let me know, because I don't want to waste your time or mine. If that's something you guys are interested in, I can show you a list of tools that I feel like you can skimp on and it'll be safe. Some tools you gotta buy quality, like some electric tools you gotta buy quality, some air tools you gotta buy quality, others you don't have to. You can get cheap tools. You know, it just depends. It really does. And I know that there are a lot of tools that I didn't mention in here. Like I said, there's only 5. I have, just in this garage, I probably have over 1,000 different things in here. I mean, no kidding, there's a lot of stuff in here. That was just kind of things that I thought that people wouldn't really think of, like me, for example. I knew I'd need an air compressor, that's a given. But that was just kind of, I wanted to kind of explain a little bit to you, because I don't want you to go out and get the little hot dog air compressor like that and go try to take the tires off your car, because that's not going to work. Yeah, that wouldn't work. You're going to have something bigger than that, and that's why I was trying to explain. If you guys want me to do a review or some kind of information on air compressors, I'm good to do that. I have oilless air compressor. I have like 6 air compressors. Okay, so I just want to tell you that I have oilless air compressors. I have an oiled air compressor. I have a belt-driven air compressor. I have a quiet air compressor. So I mean, just let me know if you guys want to see or if you're interested in something like that. But the air compressor was a given, but like the right angle thing, for years I was like, I'll never use that. That's, you know, that's dumb. And I ended up getting one, and I use that sucker all the time. And just like that magnet, I was like, I'll never use a magnet. You know, I don't need to waste money on that kind of thing. And I didn't end up wasting money on it because somebody gave me one. Thank you, I appreciate it, brother. But you know, I use it a lot. Okay, the Sawhorses were kind of a, we didn't have a table. I needed to make a table. I needed a portable table because we didn't have space. Chose those, and I figured that'd be good information to know as well. The vise, honestly, in the beginning, I didn't think I was gonna, because I had a little 4-inch vise. That thing was great, but I was like, I'm not gonna use a vise. I don't need that. And you end up using it way more than you ever thought. It's kind of one of those things, you know, you don't. But then when you get it, you're like, you use it a lot. Is what I'm getting at is. Is that my little girl in the background? She makes like a little appearance in every single video I make. It's the funniest thing. But what I was going with, I have a lot of tools. That's what I said a while ago. I have a ton of them. I have enough tools where I could explain what you need on electrical, you know, plumbing type stuff. If you're going into the maintenance field, if you wanted me to kind of make a video about what you need if you're in maintenance. What are you doing? You're so funny. If you're going into the maintenance field, if you're going to go work on cars, I got videos like that. If you want me to just do like a shop tour, if I did that, we're gonna be in there for hours. Okay, I can't speed that up because then you won't know what I was saying. But got like carpentry work, just you know, landscaping, tree work, heavy equipment. I have just about anything you can think of, and it seems to be growing every day. I'm always learning something new, or trying to anyways. How to climb a tree. I can show you all my tree climbing equipment, stuff like that. I got some really cool things for that. But just let me know what you guys want to see. If you guys want to see videos like that, what are you doing? What are you doing about that? But if you guys want to see stuff like that, just let me know. I'll be glad to show you everything. Or any kind of, you know, how to sharpen lawnmower blades or something like that. I'm rambling now, but you guys get the point. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Can you tell them thank you for watching?
Thank you for watching.
And can you say like and subscribe?
Like and subscribe.
And say please subscribe to my daddy's channel.
Please subscribe to my daddy's channel.
All right, thanks guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.